611. And we'd like to thank changes, some new things that have been brought in to Banner to serve people in the community. So Hoyt, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. I feel like a dignitary because I'm here with the football announcer. I loved that game with the comeback and the super tight game and the comeback in the last quarter.
Oh,
and I think your picture quality is fabulous. I'm shocked. It's the best I've seen on a high school football game video.
Wow, and it's these little Canon cameras. They do a great job.
Really?
But I've been told that by a few people who will watch it on YouTube. They bring it up on their smart TV at home, and they say, "Wow, it's great. It looks really good." I think, "Wow, okay, these little cameras."
It's fabulous. We used it and cast it to our television. I wanted to go. We were late. I thought, let's watch it on KRIM. It was great.
Yeah, that was an amazing game. The team did so good. Did a great job at coming back.
Staying in the game. That one catch in the fourth quarter.
One-handed catch.
Was it Keaton? One of them where he just got hammered. But was it Potter that caught it? And
there were some great catches. I remember. Yeah, I don't know if it was Keaton, Mason Herrera.
It was a first down where we ended up scoring, but it was like
it was Keaton Potter. Yeah, they got nailed.
And I remember.
And then another one-hand catch by Marco Gorecki.
Yes.
Bert Shear with an interception in the end zone. That was great. So yeah, wonderful game, and it's a real pleasure to live stream those games and also doing volleyball. And just a quick story from a parent who was up in Montana and couldn't be at his daughter's volleyball game, so he thanked me last night. We were down in Queen Creek at ALA Ironwood, and he said, "Oh, this was great last game. I was out of state. I was in Montana, and it was great to be able to watch my daughter's volleyball game in the hotel room."
That's amazing.
So
that's been fun. I've gone to a couple of the volleyball games, and there's some real talent on the court, both sides of the net. Unfortunately, it's super high competition, but boy, just some great. Taryn Ashby's the first server. She's got a wicked serve, consistent. They're just all players. I thought they were really good. Defense was great. Passing was great.
And for the most part, a pretty young team. I think Taryn's a senior. I think there's 2 other seniors on the team. But then the rest are juniors and a couple sophomores as well.
What a future for the Longhorns. That's fabulous. Yeah. But thank you for broadcasting those games. Yeah. And I think it's gone really well.
It is, and looking forward to getting back into that. Doing that a little bit more. We have great sponsors. I know Banner, a sponsor of KRIM, so that helps all of our sponsors, even if they're not specifically sponsoring sports. Everyone helps in keeping the radio going, the live streams, so it's good, and really looking forward to basketball, doing girls and boys basketball again this year, and wrestling. So
I love it. When our daughter, our youngest, graduated, it leaves a gap, so I enjoy going to fill that gap with other people's children. I'm not as stressed
oh yeah
as when it was my child out there.
I know it is less stressful, that's for sure. When your child's not out there, you can just kind of cheer on the entire team, enjoy the games, and not think about or worry about, oh boy, they're going to be so upset, oh boy, they're going to be home and upset about the loss or whatever it is.
One shout out I would make is we're proud to have Trevor Chitwood, and he's our physical therapist at the hospital, and was pursuing an athletic training career before he became a physical therapist. To have him field side and to help with the football games, and then usually one of our nurses or one of our staff are there, and then to be joined by Ponderosa Family Care, Dr. Michaels or Geraldine True Love there to try to help keep the athletes as healthy as we can and take care of determining how serious an injury might be, whether the player can continue to play. So that's a shout out to those teams, and we're grateful to the schools to have given us the chance to contribute with the Banner Health, the Dome Court. We're proud of that. I would say something here that's unusual typically for us, but we're typically pretty politically neutral on most issues, but Banner is supportive of education and workforce initiatives. And we hire high school graduates here as nurses and other certified personnel. And the high schools the school success is an essential part of healthcare. Mm-hmm. And so unequivocally, I would encourage listeners to, if they have any hesitancy in voting for the school override, mm-hmm. As a citizen myself, independent of my employment, I would encourage you to seriously consider what limited sacrifice that might be for a property owner to continue to pay that property tax. Mm-hmm. But it's essential. It would be very, very sad and a step backwards to lose those 24 teaching positions and the reading, writing, math, extra assistance, the college advanced training programs, technical training. These are things that contribute to the A+ rating the school has achieved. And I would hope that those of us that are maybe retired and that our high school years are way behind us, that we don't forget that we benefited, mm-hmm. and that our nation benefits from education and school. And I feel like we've become so divisive as a society and so selfish, and we oppose anything that might require money. And I get it, these are tough times financially, but I think America is built on generations that have sacrificed for the next generation, and they gain nothing from it. But I would say that you may be gaining something from it, because the caliber of students that are produced and as well-rounded as they can be, those are going to be the people who are working in businesses that are going to support us, mm-hmm. and make our life better or worse. And in healthcare, that's particularly poignant, mm-hmm. because it's a human being caring for you, and they came out of school somewhere. So I just want to, at this time of year, in a pivotal point in our community, to encourage voters to join me in voting yes to the school override tax continuing. Mm-hmm. And I think it gets confusing because of the technical language, 10% override. It's actually less than 0.5% in the property tax. And depending on the worth of your home, yeah. And if you have a very expensive home, that could be a couple $100, mm-hmm. you know, it's more than a couple $100. But if it's an average home, I think that it was less than $200, and some homes might be less than $100. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's money that you probably, it's a sacrifice, but I think it's worth the investment in our future. So we won't have those political statements very often, but Banner is supportive of that from a standpoint of workforce development, and so I have permission to speak my honest opinion on that, which is, I'm not constrained, but well, we serve everyone. Those that are opposed to the tax, mm-hmm. and those that are for the tax, we're going to serve all of those people, and we're not going to be discriminating in our care.
Yeah, and Banner has always been very supportive of the schools in the community, investing in the schools and the youth in the community. And I really look at that's what it comes down to. It's an investment, I think, as you said, in our future, in our youth. We're investing in them, and I always encourage people to, if they have children that are, out of school, raised and gone, or if they never had kids, go to some of the school activities, go to some of the sporting events, put yourself in a position where you're interacting with the youth in the community, and you'll find that there are just outstanding young people in our community.
Impressive.
Very impressive.
And I would say, against the stark contrast of the meltdown of character mm-hmm. that I feel is happening in mm-hmm. America, where there's no please and thank you, mm-hmm. and it's actually become popular to be divisive. Mm-hmm. Well, come on. It's so kindergarten to me that, love one another. Mm-hmm. Where have we lost? I don't mind disagreeing. Mm-hmm. I can disagree with friends, family, or people that are not my friends, but I can do it in an agreeable manner. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. I have to say, we talked about football, basketball, volleyball. I've been to boys and girls soccer.
Soccer,
Wow.
yeah.
There
Yeah.
are some gifted, talented kids on those fields.
Yeah, and both teams doing great. I know girls soccer, only one loss this season.
Unbelievable.
So
Boys are playing, I think,
yeah.
Highland Prep tonight.
Highland, yep.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to that game, it'll be fun. The goalkeeping is, both girls and boys is impressive
Mhm.
on that side. So we are a big sport of the schools and kids and families and our veterans, those that are retired. We try to look at all aspects of the community, and we're anxious to serve all of the needs that are out there. So that was a brief update.
There you go. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that ties into something. Is it a new piece of equipment?
No, it's you know, in healthcare, equipment can last 10 years before you need to replace it, and so it's relatively new. It's
Okay.
the 3D mammography machine that we have that the MHA Foundation helped us to fund.
That's right. I
Good portion
remember the ribbon cutting, or
Yeah.
when that came in.
Yeah, about 2 years ago,
Two-
but it is
yeah,
new.
Yeah.
It is new to us.
Yeah.
Heather is one of our mammographers, and she's the lead mammographer. She's amazing.
Mhm.
And when I first came to Payson, I was rounding on staff. I rounded on her, and she said, I said, well, what can we do to support your care of patients? And she said, we need a 3D mammography machine.
Mhm.
You know, they're $330,000 for a 3D.
Oh.
It's impressive what the doctor can see through that image. The best way, if we were able to display it, if you took an apple and you were to pass it in front of the camera, and that camera could show you the skin of the apple, its thickness, and then the inside of the apple, which we eat, then the beginning of the core, and each seed inside each seed, and then you can just pass. That's what 3D allows, is an image like an apple that you can actually twist in the air, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it identifies the smallest of, I mean, we're talking less than a millimeter sized calcifications and different things. And so we would encourage our listeners, especially the women, to not shy away from receiving your annual mammogram. And our team is very careful to ensure the best comfort possible, get the readings interpreted by the radiologist quickly, and so there's not worry. There are some mammogram results that will require a diagnostic mammogram. So your annual mammo or every other year mammo is a screening mammo. But if there is any worry or possible concern, then you'll be receive an order to return for a diagnostic mammo, which zeroes in on that particular area, and many of those tests are proven to be a false positive. And so we try to do those things quickly so that we don't have unnecessary anxiety. Breast cancer, most breast cancers, if detected earlier, have a very high rate of success in treating without risk of mortality. There are some that are not detectable as early and can, you know, at different stages. So we just want to protect life and help people to extend their lives with the highest quality. So Breast Cancer Awareness Month, get your mammography screening. There's not a better device in the valley than we have. So there's no advantage to you going outside of Payson in terms of image quality. So we're excited and grateful to the MHA Foundation for helping make that possible.
Wow. And I would imagine not every small community has a 3D mammography machine.
No, the price makes it hard, and Medicare and insurance companies do not pay a hospital more for a 3D image over a plain film image.
Gotcha.
And so as a result, it's hard to justify from a financial standpoint buying that far more expensive unit. It's like 3 times more expensive, and you don't get paid anymore.
Yeah.
So the MHA Foundation coming in and helping with the matching grant with Banner was essential and a game changer for us. So now we have that service, and we'll always have it. And at some point, we'll need to replace that unit.
Yeah.
And Banner will do that. Now that it's part of its regular capital, we'll have that service forevermore.
Wow,
So we're
that's
excited
great.
about that.
That's great, and it's just another example of that high level of service that is provided by Banner Payson. And just, I think we should be very thankful, all of the different services that are available to us as residents because of Banner working with organizations like MHA, or just having the willingness to invest in the community.
We thank you. That's our aim.
Mm-hmm.
We're not for profit, so there's not a goal to sell stock. There's
Mhm.
not a goal to make a profit, to pocket
Mhm.
that profit. All the proceeds and profits are designed to reinvest in healthcare, to make healthcare easier so life can be better for our patients and the communities. So one investment we're making may sound trite,
Mm-hmm.
not very dramatic to
Mhm.
most, but I'm very pleased. I've always, when I first came to Payson and approached the hospital on East Main Street was built after the hospital was built. And so
Mhm.
it's built up to the back of the hospital, where our
Okay.
loading dock is, and
Yeah,
where
yeah.
dumpsters are. Well, the roof of that old administrative building, which was the roof of the original clinic back in
Mhm.
1954,
Wow.
it has a lot of pipes and items that had accumulated over the years and were used.
Mhm.
We've now been able to replumb anything that was active under the sheeting that we can do.
Okay.
Get it out of sight, out of
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
We don't want to detract from the beauty of Payson. And some of it could be removed, no longer
Yes,
needed.
yeah.
And at one point, we were going to demolish that building, but we've determined to try to keep healthcare costs from continuing to escalate any faster than they need to. Let's reinvest in that building. And so we're nearly complete in re-roofing it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be painting the vents, trying to make things look manicured and attractive, and redoing the soffits that were very aged. Next stage will be painting that administrative building in a way that tries to tie it into the campus.
Mhm.
There's bricks that need to be repaired, and then the landscaping.
Mhm.
We've got some different styles of landscape rock that are all in a relatively small area. Doesn't look good.
Mhm.
We're going to be updating the landscaping, hoping to plant some ponderosa pine trees, because that's what Payson's known for. And
Oh,
in that
yeah.
area of the hospital, you come to the campus and there's no pines. There's
Uh-huh.
only one big pine tree. So we're wanting to be a good corporate citizen to help add to the beauty of the campus of the hospital, to mirror that in the community, and to something the community can feel more proud of rather than embarrassed about in terms of appearance. So we will be resurfacing our parking lots over the next 12 months. We were hoping to do that before winter, but we've got some water drainage issues that have been a problem
Oh.
with ice and during flooding, that comes with the monsoons, that the engineers need more time to design the solution to. We're gonna have to put some large French drains in to manage that. And then we'll resurface these lots that are overdue for resurfacing, and they'll be restriped. I always think there's something nice about a blacktop.
Oh, yeah,
It's
fresh
striped,
blacktop,
looks
yeah.
clean.
Yeah.
And then we've been working on the landscaping slowly, and trying to, any space that's ours, we'd like it to be manicured and professional in its appearance. So minor to most listeners, but we want to, again, our goal is to be a reflection of the caliber of this community and not detract from that. So
Mhm.
I'm excited about those simple things.
And I was just wanted to look up, see if it was on here, but the sign also, I know that was added at that location, right at the end of Main Street. I know you're saying that was a great addition.
Yeah, it's fun. The healthcare heroes.
Yes,
Banner Heroes
yeah.
Week. That came during the pandemic at every Banner campus, and
Uh-huh.
we've retained ours, and we feel
Uh-huh.
like that's a good entry
Yeah.
from the East Main that we want to keep there.
It is.
We've got some photos of elk, the big 6-point bulls walking past the healthcare heroes sign. One of our physician recruiters said, "Can I get a photo? Can I get a copy of that? We want to use that as a draw for physician candidates for
Oh,
Payson,
yeah.
So that's fun."
Yeah.
I tease, we've got some photos of the elk on the helipad.
Oh.
We have grass. Helipads require, you have to have a dust-free landing
Uh-huh.
spot, and so grass is a great helipad amenity. Otherwise, you can go to gravel and different things, but you can't have small gravel because gravel can, the chopper can create some wind current. So the elk will be on the helipad from time to time, and so we brag that we have the only organically fertilized helipad in the state of Arizona. But,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Getting them off the pad can be a challenge at times.
Yeah, I know. I was heading out of town yesterday to go down for the volleyball game, and I'd never really, I don't know if I've ever seen elk on 87 just south of town. So just as you pass the event center and the reservation there, and I was, there were a couple motorcycles by me, and motorcyclists, and there was this big bull elk just standing on the side of the road eating. But you know, I saw the motorcyclists point over like, oh boy, look, he's right there, because it was very close to the side of 87. And I thought, wow, that's, I've never really noticed them off of 87.
I haven't seen them either.
South of town.
But there's that sign that has the elk warning sign. I've always wondered, you know, as you're coming up, approaching town, you know, before you get to the shooting range area,
Okay.
before Oxbow, there's
Okay.
that's the first elk warning sign, but I've never seen any.
Seen them
I've
down
not seen
there.
a deer or an elk before there, so that's interesting.
Yeah, Oxbow, Round Valley, down in that area, the shooting Jim Jones, you know, the road that goes down there. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen wildlife in that area either.
So you did.
Interesting.
You know, one topic, Chris, that we should cover,
Yeah.
and I was thinking about what listeners may want to know or need to know,
Mm-hmm.
relates to a national crisis that we've been experiencing the last 2 weeks
Oh, yes.
as a result of the hurricanes.
Uh-huh.
So one of the nation's largest medical fluid, this is usually saline fluid that you use, you get an IV bag. There's different types of medical fluids. They're used in life-saving dialysis that dialysis patients receive every week. Well, that manufacturing facility that Baxter owns in North Carolina was damaged, significantly damaged by the hurricane, and produces 60% of our nation's medical fluids.
Oh, wow.
That's a whole other discussion.
Yes.
Why were we not
60% from one
from
facility.
one facility. And so there's been a shortage of fluids. Of course, triage is occurring to make sure that life-saving fluids get where they're needed most, so dialysis fluids. If you take that out, it leaves elective procedures, like those performed in the operating room, that aren't life-saving, but they're quality of life issues, that we've had to cancel those cases. So
Wow.
an example
Yeah.
is in a hip replacement, there's a significant amount of fluid that is used washing, irrigating the surgical site. Urology procedures use a significant amount of liters and liters of medical fluid and saline. And so those are on short supply. So nationally, many of these surgeries, and there's many other surgeries I haven't mentioned, have been canceled and put on hold until the national fluid supply can be reestablished. Baxter has shared in a recent announcement that of their 3,000 employees in that facility in North Carolina, 1,000 of them are back at work. They're actively working to provide any support they can for their employees whose homes have been seriously damaged, because they're hoping to get them back at work. Well, it's hard to even consider going to work when your home is destroyed. So they have that issue, then they have the issue of the factory itself having been flooded, and these are medical fluids, and so you have to meet FDA requirements, of course, to make sure the setting is sterile and perfectly clean, the equipment's perfectly clean, and there's no any risk of contaminating this clear saline and these other fluids. So they're hoping that by January, they will have their production restored to full capacity. In the meanwhile, 2 days ago, they announced that they had begun to ship fluids from their other countries' manufacturing sites. These are, although the process of bottling and packaging is complex, this is not a highly complex healthcare supply. And so they're able to meet US criteria to bring this into the country. So they're flying in fluids to try to mitigate some of this
Wow.
challenge. Some hospitals have nearly run out of fluid, which can be very dangerous. When you come to the ER,
Yeah.
most critical conditions require an IV and fluid, and there are ways that we can deliver some medicines directly into the bloodstream without saline, etc. We've implemented all of those measures.
Yeah.
So to the listeners, I would say, no risk of us running out. Our supply is good, but we are conserving because it's not a sure thing that you can replace your fluids. So we have had to the patients that may be listening, that you've gotten a call to postpone a surgery, and it's been explained that it's due to this fluid shortage. So I thought that might be of interest to the listeners, and we certainly are apologetic to anyone whose timing of their surgery has been impacted. It's really beyond our control.
And they're also, what they've done is federal government has made, I guess, getting the Baxter facility rebuilt number one priority when they're looking at kind of getting things rebuilt in that area because of the impact it's had.
They've actually put up a temporary bridge. So
Oh,
those
wow.
of you from the military,
Yeah.
some of you are very familiar with the engineer's ability to put in those temporary bridges, that, and they've done that so that they can get access to the facility for increased shipping of trucks. And I guess the hurricane had damaged some shipping, just driving paths and different things. So very complicated. I'm very pleased that the government is making this a priority. So kind of a hodgepodge of topics today. I hope that each of us has some interest to the listener.
Yeah, that's good though. It is just a lot of different areas to discuss, you know.
One thing we're real proud of that was announced this week is there are 33 hospitals within Banner Health. And in the last 2 years, our emergency department patient satisfaction scores that you all rate us based on your experience in the ER in these recent 2 years, we've become one of the top 3 performing emergency departments in all of Banner Health. And we've been ranked 3rd, we've been ranked 2nd, we've been 1st. We are now 1st again. We have the highest patient satisfaction scores in the company across 6 states and 33 hospitals.
Wow.
We're proud of our nurses and our teams in the ER. We have many staff in all different departments that support our ER, and our physicians and providers. And we know we're not perfect, and we know that some listener might be saying, well, my experience wasn't perfect. It wasn't stellar. And to those I would say, please call us at the hospital if you haven't already, so we can explore what happened and apologize and try to do better in the future. And my number at the hospital is 928-471-1200. That's 928-471-1200. Monica, my assistant, will likely answer that phone, and we'll field any concerns so we can get better.
And what's good about that is I know you, as most of us, never enjoy hearing about someone's unpleasant experience
That's hard.
at the place that we're managing or we're running, but it provides you the opportunity to address that situation because there might be a procedural issue or something that you can do, that department can do to improve in that area, and without that feedback you might not be aware of that.
Amen. We make changes based on the feedback, and we look for trends, and we look, we coach our staff. And some people, good intentions aren't enough in healthcare. We have to be able to deliver great care, and some are unwilling to do that or unable to do that with all the coaching, then we'll make changes in personnel. And the team we've assembled right now in that emergency department, I'm very proud of, and I have no hesitancy personally going there to receive care when needed.
Well, that is great. Well, it's that time, so thank you, Hoyt, so much for coming on today, and thank you for everything that you do, that Banner does in our community. It's great, and I think we're very fortunate to have Banner in the community and offering all the services and being a part of the community.
Thank
That's
you.
the big thing.
We feel it's a great honor and a privilege for us to be serving the community in this way. It's what we want to do, and appreciate your support, and thanks for providing voices and a platform to be able to share. We're grateful for your station and what you do. Thank you.
You're so welcome, and thank you to everyone listening and watching this morning. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Time to get back to the music here on KRIM with some John Cougar, Rolling Stones, and the Psychedelic Furs. But first, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
With this morning's KRIM weather forecast, Payson and surrounding areas, I'm now meteorologist Corey Hoyt.
All right, shut that down.